So it's Saturday the 20 something of September, and today is the day. So Mighty Griso take apart some bits so that then tomorrow, Sunday, I can do the actual job or get into where I need to be to get that done. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything comes apart right, because I haven't found a video on YouTube that shows me how this is done. I've seen some pictures and I kind of get it, and I've been told that it shouldn't be too difficult. I guess if it's not difficult, I must be able to do it. So we'll go and do it. So the job we're going to start with on this job is wings off, tank off, exhaust system off, and that's going to hopefully give us free space and room to move around this section here, which is where we need to get into the heart of the machine. Pretty much it's almost like the brain, heart brain, because I guess the timing chain helps to keep everything all in the right motion, which then also means that the beating heart of the mighty twin cylinder engine of the Griso is able to do its business and explode fuel and turn that energy through the gearbox and down through into the mighty awesome rear wheel. What I'm actually going to do is that while we're doing this job, I'm not going to muck around and show you and take you through every little piece that I'm taking off. We're just going to, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll get the thing off, and not until we get into the nitty gritty bits that we'll worry about looking at all the intricacies and the pain that I may suffer. Handy tip for you, if I haven't said before, is that you've got your fuel pump cable comes out the side, should do anyway. Undo that, it's real easy. Even though I don't make it easy. Right, battery on, make sure you got your fuses in. So try and start the bike up. It's not gonna, because you've disconnected the fuel pump. Therefore now you've released the pressure. The very tricky part, which I can't really show you, is getting this part here apart. Oh, maybe I could put the camera on the other side. Let's see if we can see that. Hi through there. You probably can't see me because I'm over here, you're over there. Anyway, I'm not sure if you can see the wee fitting. It's a pain. I don't know if I need to get this tank up a little bit higher, maybe. There you go. Wow. I tell you what, that is the most painful piece of this job that I hate. So there you go. Tank's off. Mistral pipe off. Bolts undone on the top part there. Other side to do. It's a little bit loose now, so that's good. Do the other side. The trouble is it's 30mm, and this damn thing here gets in the way and you can't get the damn ring in there. So you got to go this end. And the trouble is there's not enough room to play with when you want to spin things around. Yeah, bear with me. Exhaust off. What you'll find is missing here is this bracket here. It snapped years ago, but with the big massive can, yeah, it would be a problem. But I've only got the little wee Mistral on there. It's pretty light. I've never had a problem in, well, let's say hundreds of thousands of kilometers. No issue. Don't worry about it. Now we're up to getting into the alternator, so it shouldn't be too difficult, hopefully. Right, so disconnect the ECU. We've got the alternator belt cover off. Throw that to the side. You can see the alternator belt, nice new one I put in there. That's all good. Now we'll loosen off a bolt at the top here so we can loosen down the alternator, and we can just remove that belt. And then we can take this off and take that bolt off, and then we can pull this pulley off, hopefully. And then we need to take this cover off. Not so excited about that bit. So one of the pains is, let's check this bit out, is this bolt here, that one right there. It's a pain because you can't get into it very easily. Look at that, that's a little bit crusty, doesn't it? What's there leak in there for? Well, where's that residue coming from? We need to pull this plate off, which is this bracket. This whole bracket will come off. That bolt, there's a hard one to get off. Of course it's got Loctite on it, which I must get some Loctite. I think I might have a little tube of it still here. Loctite 243, so they say. So if I haven't got some, I'll get some, because I guess last thing on these things to fall apart. Well, we just brought a wee puller and actually didn't really take too much, but this is making this life a little bit easier to replace anything around here. Hopefully they're all okay. Looks mint as. Well, mint as, a little bit of corrosion. Is that a problem? That's on the other side. So all good. So right now we've attached some straps to the ceiling, to the bike, and also down the bottom here. Put some blocks of wood just to prop up the engine. So what I'll do now is I'll just go around and crack each of these so that they are loose. These must be the ones they talk about using Loctite on. Alright, disconnect, I'll hopefully undo these ones. Ain't that a beautiful chunky bolt? No rust on there or nothing, so I'll take that as a positive, eh? What I've done with some of these is, some of these are a bit tight, and I've just used a wee pointy thing just to get in there, so that then I can get my socket in there properly, because I've had it before where you can't get that in far enough, then you end up stripping the bloody front end of it out, and then you're cursing and bloody, things just turn to custard. It's lunchtime, I'm gonna go inside for lunch. All bolts out, ones that go around the outside, and two I just forgotten about. Oh, I forgot, did I forget, or did I just not know? It's supposed to be summertime, and I think we've got a little bit of hail. There we go, so we use a bit of a pry bar. There's a little bit of oil on the ground down there, whether it's a bad thing or not, so I just use this bit of wood in behind here and just gave it a wee bit of a nudge. So we've got that there pretty much. Let's take it off nice and gently, hopefully. There we go. Let's look on the other side here. Does that look normal? Let's take it to the sunlight, eh? Let's see, some sort of spring or something, I don't know. Everything looks okay, nice and clean. I see, so this here must help supply oil to this part here, which then comes through the engine, so I guess oil is normal. Gasket looks fine overall, but yeah, we do have a new one to replace that with. We had to get a paper one to start with, but the original is a steel one, so I replaced that with a steel one. So if you need a paper one, let me know. We'll order something. So we have the crankshaft, the, I believe, oil pump, and then camshaft. I'm guessing it might be up and behind there. So that one there, it's not wet with oil. Turn this around till we find the markers. Timing mark there, and there must be a timing mark on this one here. So we'll turn that around and find the spot. Got this one here undone, loose. I've got this top one undone, loose. This one here's a pain because look at it. It's flush as hell, and it's bigger than any socket I've got. And even if I did have a socket that was long, it'd have to be like an extra long one, special one. Something like that would be handy. That was big enough. But what a pain. Righto, so what happened is that I went down to Repco, super cheap actually, brought one of these. Here's sweet, so now I've just got to line up the timing marks, so I'll have them straight up and down. I'll put some marks on things here so I can know that everything is straight, and then once I put everything back in, I'm hopefully all lined up and mint. So that was a bit of a mission. I had to use a breaker bar with the extension, and a double extension, just to try and get a little enough torque on it to get it off. Whew. Right, so I've just put a cable tie on there just to hold the teeth, and I'll put another one on the other side. So we have our chain nicely wrapped up and a new tensioner, which is different than the one that's originally in there. That way around. So we just need to get this out now. What we're going to do is just make sure that all of this stuff is lined up and doesn't come apart. Right, we've got the timing chain out. It's nervy, isn't it? Because on this one here, there's no place where it just locks in. Oh, it does lock in. There we go. Right, so this is the trouble bit we're going to get out now. So that should just slide off with the spring. And how does that actually look? Well, actually, that's not actually looking too bad, really, is it? I don't know. You tell me. It's the tensioner. What we're going to do now is get the shaft out. So I'm not sure how easy that's going to be. We have to apply some heat. So I've applied a little bit of heat here. It's a bit tricky to get at, but hopefully it's going to be up and out in here any second there. Ah, look at that. An easy success. Okay, so now we've just got to line these up and put it all back together. I've put marks on the chain so that I know which is which. Righto, so old chain, new chain, things lined up on the chain. Hopefully we're all good. A bit nervous about putting it back in, to be quite honest. Very nervous to put it back in, because what if the timing is wrong? What if I've gone out a notch or something? Fingers crossed. Righto, now I have another go at this. So this key is my problem. So we've finally got things back in as we think they should be, with the marks I've put on here before everything was moved, that this shaft here lines up with this, and this here lines up with that, and the key, got this here with the key back in, so we're all pretty much good. The only part we've got to put in now is the tensioner, which is going to be the tricky bit. Well, it might not be tricky. The wee shaft here just slides in here. The tricky part is going to be getting this into there. A little bit on a funny angle, so push that up. Now we're right. Tell you what, there's not as much play in that this tensioner compared to the original, that's for sure. Now this is one I was recommended to put in here, so you know, this is from people that sort of know what they're doing, or saying. I hope so anyway. All we're up to is tightening all of these up to the right torque, then we are done. So we'll torque that up tomorrow. This one here has to be at about 120 or 150. I think it's 120 newton meters. I did buy a new torque wrench because the torque wrench I have is old school style. This thing flops around. I mean, it probably does the job, but we won't use that. That's job done for now. I'm going to leave it because I'm tired. I've had enough. I tell you what, when you've got a workshop and you're workshop, this ain't a workshop. This is just a garage, and I don't have all the stuff that I need to lift the bike up and stuff. But it works. Righto. So where are we at right now? So what I've done is I've run this through a few revolutions to check that the timing marks are correct, are matching up, just to be 100% certain, because I don't know, I'm just nervous. I've also checked the cylinders to make sure that everything is lining up as far as the pistons and this. Righto, so we're just going to check the clearances here for the valves at top dead center. A question I was asked is that how do I replace, or how do I get this off without breaking the gasket? Well, to be honest, I've never ever had to worry about the gasket. It just comes off, goes back on, and it seals. So then, I've never used a torque wrench before. We need to go up to 120 newton meters. Righto, so I think we've got it set right. We'll do it to 80 first, and then we'll just see what that feels like. And then we can step it up, since I've never used this thing before. So we've got the torque wrench, and just going to do this bolt here, that one up to the 120. That's that, and we'll do the top one up to 150. I think that's what it said on the book. I don't know if that sounds right, but we'll check it at 120 to start with and go from there. Right now I've put some Loctite on there. Awesome. Well, that's that done. That's all the timing bits done. We've just got to do this one here up, then we're done. Right, so I've got to put the gasket in, make sure it's nice and clean. Because it's steel, it does bend a little bit, so I'll put on the two clamps on its two pegs there. So Daylight Savings is here in New Zealand, so I can hear the birds singing, and it's time to, I think, we'll put this case back on. It's almost like a little handbag sort of thing, you know. Where we're at right now is we just need to do up all these bolts here. We'll do them up just so they're semi-tight, and then we'll put these ones here in with some Loctite, hold them into place, and then we'll line up and get these main frame connecting bolts into place. What was really good was to have some bacon egg pie for tea. Gives you some sustenance and keeps you going. I thought I could have done this in one day. If I was to do this job again, easy as, you sort of know where to go and what to do. Could I have done it with the exhaust pipes in place? That's a really good question. We'll just do them up till we sort of get the casing into place. Okay, so this here is a little bit out of alignment, so we'll just use on the block here, I've got a tire iron, and we'll just lift it up a touch until we're in. Looking at this side, the motor kind of needs, it's hard to see in there, but it looks like the motor needs to come down. This may or may not work, but I'm just going to try and jack the engine up a bit. And there you have it. Oh, that's brilliant. That's excellent. And we're all good. Got the torque there, so I'll just use the torque wrench and we're done. Do this one. Hopefully, you can see a bit of residue here. Hopefully this oil has been coming might be actually coming from up here. So this rubber seal might be a bit bunged. You say that's it, and then it's one more. Might as well do it up. Not sure what the torque is on that. I'll look that up and we'll do that as well. So that says alternator nut and pulley, 80 Newton meters with Loctite. I've put the Loctite on there, so we're all good. Done. Sweet. Right, so where we're at, we have to connect this piece to the casing, and then we'll put the alternator back into place. That will go through there, and then alternator mounts onto that one. So that's on, a little bit tricky, just those fingers, and then I'll put this bolt into here, and then we just have to find where I'll put the belt and put the belt on. Drama number 24. I'm not counting them, but I can find my old alternator belt, but I can't find the one I took off. The thing is, it's that big. Oh man, I've been on the hunt for a long moment. Been hunting everywhere, you know, but you know, it's in plain sight. What's that? Damn it. Right, there's the alternator belt. Around the pulley, on. Oh, actually around the small one. Oh, I don't know if it really matters. We're on. That's a little slack. So we'll fix that. Okay, so we'll tension things up, and then we can look at doing up all the bolts. Yeah. So just tensioning up the alternator belt. I don't have no tensioner at all. I think I'll just go with state of mind and how I perceive it to be. And it's just a matter of tightening everything up until it feels right. Plug that back in. So the thing we're missing now, we've got to put the coil back in, ECU back in, and then we're looking good. Coil in, coil plugs in, and main power plug to the coil in. ECU up under here. You know, why and who ever thought that the ECU would be perfect up under here when you have a front wheel right there throwing water up into it. That was one of my first big problems, but we'll talk about that another day. So now then, it's alternator cover back on. That last bolt for the alternator cover. So what I had found yesterday in my investigations while I was putting things back together was that this spark plug lead has effectively fallen to pieces. The best thing to do there is, because of that, pull the lead out, and I've had a new one made. It's cost a matter of $18. Got the power lead back on there, then it's the battery and all the gear there, and a breather tube, which I've just replaced some bits so that it's a nice clean tubes, but you can't put them on until you get down in there, and that's awesome because it's really hard to get in there with your fingers unless you have fingers like chopsticks, and my fingers are not chopsticks, so it's always a pain. You've needed those pliers, never quite right. Never mind, that's how they make them a challenge, and don't we love a challenge. Pipe back on. A bit fiddly because this here is a bit out of alignment. Maybe it just needs a retwist. I probably need to undo the bits here. I just put it back on as one whole unit. Everything's installed, so we're happy now. Just got to put the battery on, test if it starts. If it doesn't start, then I'm in. I'll be less than happy. Turn the key on. Moment of truth. I must admit, I am a tad nervous. Breathing the fumes in. Must admit, looking at the bike, it's whining a bit more. I don't know whether that is the way the chain is on that different tensioner, because it's a lot bigger, longer, and maybe the chain is just rubbing on that, and that's what's causing the initial whine, because I've never had that before. Alternator and everything seems fine, so reading the right sort of stuff. We'll wait till we put it all finally back together again, and we'll do a test ride and see how we go. I'll probably reset TPS and stuff since I have done stuff and see what happens. So now it's Thursday in the week. I started this job back on Saturday when I first took the alternator belt off, and I started that bit, and then I went and did the other pieces on Sunday, and I got a fair bit done then, and I've been boxing away just trying to get things back together again, and I haven't exactly been all that successful in getting things back together swiftly. I guess that's a tricky thing when you're working and you're trying to fit things in at the end of the day, and you've got to live as well and do other stuff. It's been a bit tricky one, but from that yesterday when I put it in together and started it up, and I had which pretty much sounded like I was a turbine motorcycle with a good old rattle. That's just a Guzzi thing, but the turbine sounded kind of, oh, I don't know if I like that, but a little bit of review of things and thinking about it, and from what I've been told on the Griso Ghetto is that might be a normal thing, kind of. But I'm just going to check, because I know I did probably do the alternator belt up a tad tighter than what it was beforehand. So I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to loosen that, or take the cover off, loosen it right off, give it a run with it loose as a goose, and just tighten it up slightly and see how it sounds after that, and see what happens. That's all we can do.